long as it works.
Yep.
Hey, we're live.
Does anybody want to lead, I guess?
I have a cough today, so I probably shouldn't this time, or I'll be hacking through the middle of the questions.
I can lead if you guys want to.
Sure.
Does anybody have any spiritual thoughts, scripture, gospel thoughts? Not this week.
I don't know how spiritual it is. I guess it is. We had the elders over on Monday for FHE, and their challenge to us was to pray about an opportunity to share the gospel online, especially since we're like, I mean, I feel like this would apply to us because we're online students. So we're on the computer all the time, and it wouldn't hurt to take a couple minutes just to either share a Mormon message, or they showed a video of this girl who was just going around taking pictures, and then she'd find some way to tie it into a scripture and like send it as a positive thought to a friend. And I thought that's just so brilliant, because you take pictures all day long and you don't ever think to like attach a scripture to it. So just something like that. Or if there's like a song that's spiritually uplifting that hits you, you know, try and find a YouTube link and attach that on Facebook or something. Just, there's a challenge from the elders in our ward, and I challenge you.
All right. Thanks.
Yep.
All right. So I'll just read what it wants me to read. So far in this course, we have seen a few common threads and takeaways. Founder matters, experience, passion, and vision shape the business and can make the difference between success and failure. Business plan at the founding stage of the company is a collection of hypotheses. In other words, guesses. Create value by systematically testing hypotheses and making changes to the plan when the test results indicate a need to change. Early test tells us a lot about viability of the business and where more information is needed. Previous cases analyzed business models that founders had already chosen. Now we get to see a company at the moment of choice. All right, so we get to vote between traditional strategy, the razor and razor blade strategy, and the data analysis. So what do you guys favor the most?
I'm for the razor and razor blade strategy personally.
I am also for the razor and razor blade strategy.
I like the data analytics one.
I picked the data analytics too.
Oh man, we're
All right, so we're split. That's gonna be fun.
All right. So give each person a chance why you voted the way you did.
Okay, so I think the biggest reason I liked the razor and razor blade strategy is because it was risky, but not too risky. Like I felt like the third strategy was the riskiest, and I'm always a little bit nervous about that, but that might just be my personality. But also, I didn't like the traditional model, mostly because it felt like you'd have to jump through hoops just to get any sales. I mean, you'd be up against people who already are making sales that would come in and crush you and try to undercut you because they can, because they're big and you're not. And then also, as far as just getting the sales, like they're funded by grants and government. And then assuming they get the money, then the business development people have to decide that they want to spend the money. And then the buyers have to actually go buy the stuff. And then the scientists have to approve of the stuff and say, yeah, this actually works. Like it's just hoop after hoop after hoop. And I felt like with the razor and razor blade model, these small research labs and biotech firms and stuff would have less hoops to jump through as far as like making sales. And then also I felt like it just fit the core values of what he's trying to accomplish better, because he's reaching people that do the diagnostic testing and the disease genetics and stuff like that, which is why he kind of went into it in the first place, right? So those are my reasons.
So I'll just build off of yours because I agree with you 100%. It said that he wanted to use his education to help people. I think with the razor and razor blade, it opens that new market to those that couldn't afford this technology. So I think it's using his education to help these people, because he's offering this product at a lower cost. It's also opening the new market, so he's not physically competing against the bigger brands, like the traditional strategy, because like they said with the traditional strategy, if they were to go in with a lower price, and these bigger companies could go with a lower price and just take them out, eliminate the threat. That's what they said. That's why I chose razor and razor blade. How about you guys? Why did you choose data?
Well, I personally chose it because when I first looked at his goal, which was, it said like something like to fundamentally change the way health is given to the health information is given to the patients. And I really felt that by gathering data, and then comparing the data and then sending that out, I really felt like that was fulfilling that goal of changing the way, the healthcare kind of works. And then it also talked about balancing the needs that the investors have. I mean, obviously the investors want to make money. So this is a way that he can do, focus on the humanitarian part of it while at the same time he's still able to make the profit that the investors want. I also chose it because it was a little risky and he likes to take risks. In the case, it talked about him taking risks from the beginning, and he kind of went after that goal and he accomplished a lot of things. So I feel like he's a person who could handle the risk, and he could do great things with it. And I think a hybrid of them would be the best, but ultimately I chose data analytics because it was riskier and it did focus on changing. I also like how it said it was like the Google of genomics, whatever. I thought that was a really catchy way to look at it, and I think of how many lives Google has impacted just for being a search engine, and I can't imagine if all of the data from different diseases was accessible so that we could learn from that. And I feel like everybody would benefit ultimately. That's why I chose it.
Yeah, I chose that one also because just to build off that, I chose it because, well, to be honest, it has the highest potential for financial gain. It talks about how an analyst predicted that the market would grow from 732 million in 2012 to 7.6 billion by 2018. That's just on the machines alone. So I think with them being in going with the data analytics model, they are able to store. Basically, what the goal is of data analytics is to store, distribute, and just build knowledge, build data. So essentially, they'd be the Google of the market. Everybody would go to them when they had questions, or when if they had questions on certain machines or certain data that they received. So let's see. Another reason.
Are you worried about the competition for that model at all? Because I know it said somewhere that there was more competition in that area because other people were trying to do the whole, Google for genomics thing. So he'd have to act really fast. Like, do you really think he could get there first? Could he do it?
I mean, if worked at it. The same goes for the other two models. He has to, if he gets lackadaisical on any of them, then he gets beaten out. Actually, the main concern for this one is just the high overhead. At least I write down. High R&D costs and overhead, which, with the amount he was able to raise in venture capital or in capital was pretty quick, and he raised a lot of money. I think with his business model, he can gain that capital fast enough to cover the overhead.
Okay. Do we have any cons for all of them or any of them? Because we kind of shared what we think the pros are. Traditional strategy, we shared some cons.
Yeah, cons. Traditional was the first one they listed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Because I wrote down the major risks. Is they literally open themselves up to competition. That's like the main concern with that one, just because there's already people doing it, like Brittany mentioned earlier.
Well, they're only going in like $10,000 cheaper for the machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these bigger companies could lower their price pretty easy.
Right.
Well, and LifeTech had a similar technology to what he was doing with the semiconductors. So there's a chance that they could just come in and make their own thing. Or Oxford Nanopore, they were working on that little handheld $900 disposable sequencer. They wouldn't necessarily be like direct competition because it's disposable, but enough that that's a concern also.
And they mentioned another concern is they've already got the businesses already have these other products. So if they came in and said, well, we got this one, it's $10,000 cheaper, they'd still have to switch the cartridges and the product.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
that's true. There's like a buyer cycle, right? Like they buy the bulk of the stuff and then they just kind of fill in the gaps until the next buyer cycle.
Yeah. Which
actually the razor and razor blade model utilizes. Just throw that out there.
Well, because it sells their test cartridges like 50% above what it costs them to make them, right?
Yeah, they actually have the highest margins on the little things that they'd have to buy afterwards. More so than the margins on the actual sequencer.
It didn't share with the razor to razor blade one that they would, because on the traditional one it said they would service the machine every year at a cost of $10,000 each time. Would they still have to service the machine at $10,000? Just for the traditional one?
I don't think it directly said, but I would assume the maintenance would be the same all around. I mean, it's the same machine that they'd be selling, so I'm guessing that the maintenance.
Didn't they say they would raise maintenance off it off the back? Or was that a different model?
I think that was traditional. I don't think it said on razor blade one about maintenance. I'm kind of looking through it, but I don't see anything about maintenance on that one.
I don't either.
It says the machine is like $5,000 to $7,000. So why wouldn't you just buy another machine instead of having them maintain it?
Yeah, I have no idea.
So I guess that could be a flaw for the razor blade one.
Yeah.
I think too, but I think we talked about it. Was it? Because they are going to make a lot of their money on the cartridges. So if they don't have enough business, then I feel like the company will slowly decline and eventually fail. So they're like really banking on a lot of profit from the cartridges, but if they don't have the business that they hope to, I feel like I wrote this down. That it was like 3,000 of the 50,000 small labs could currently afford to do this. So I'm not sure that. I don't remember where I read that. I didn't write a page number by that one. But I feel like that could be a downfall too. If they're really relying on the business.
I know that they were kind of counting on increased testing volume because you figure if theirs is faster than everybody else's, then they're going to be having to buy more of those cartridges, right? So that would up that and decrease the chance that they wouldn't have as many sales there.
In theory.
Which I think sounds reasonable. I mean, if it's faster, then they can get more work done, which is the goal of these diagnostic companies, right? They want to find a diagnosis quick, so.
Well, and with the razor blade one, they wanted to also reach out to like biofuels and ag businesses too, so that could get them a little bit more more business.
And national lab companies.
Yeah.
And hospitals and universities. There's lots of people they could sell to. They suspect that this market is just waiting to burst. Like they want that lower price point and they just haven't been able to do anything with it yet. Which is not to say that they would for sure buy. That point was made, but I think that enough of them would be excited about it.
Do we have anything else to add? Number 5. I guess there's more questions on number 5. So using the Excel model you created before class, answer the following questions, and then compare the answer as a group. We'll use a polling tool. Is there a polling tool on Google Hangouts?
That's a good question. I know there's one on what's like if you click on a link through BYUI, whatever that used to be called. But I've never seen a polling tool on Hangouts.
I don't know.
But there's only 4 of us, so I feel like we should be able to kind of figure out what the stats are.
Okay. So if we increase EBIT/sales and hold everything else equal, time to play back, or time to pay back. Increases, decreases, or remains the same.
Okay, wait. Use a polling tool. Answer the following questions individually. Okay, if we increase. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's that worksheet we were talking about before we started the recording. Erica, did you get that worksheet working? The Excel spreadsheet?
No, I did not even see it, to be completely honest.
Okay, because I got it, but like a couple of the pages look a little different, unless I'm just scrolling wrong or something. They look different than they did in the video, so I think I'm missing some stuff. But I think this particular question refers to the FCF definition tab on that. It should be in the, what's it called, the case prep.
Yeah, I'm almost there.
There you go.
I just maybe skipped over it or something. I don't know. I feel like this whole semester I've just been like a hot mess. I can't get my life together. It's fine.
There was a lot of information. We were talking about that before you got on. There was a lot of information in this one that we like felt like was kind of irrelevant. And then all of a sudden at the end they really got into it. Or like the second half. So it kind of made your mind go, what? For a little bit there. So I get it.
Okay. That's 10 seconds.
So if I remember correctly, increasing, oh yeah, we're just supposed to do a poll, huh? Should we like type it into the message box or just say it out loud? What do you guys want to do?
I can just say it out loud.
Okay. So if I remember correctly, when we increase EBIT and sales, it actually slowed down the amount of time it took to get cumulative free cash flow positive. But I can double check that. I have to reset my numbers though. What are the original numbers? Or maybe I can just change the.
So where are you getting this Excel from?
So
I don't know why I didn't see it to begin with.
okay, so let me go. I'll go back and like reopen it so that I can tell you guys how I got to it. I'm trying to think.
It's on
was
the
a week?
prepare tab, right?
Yeah, week 4, and then if you go to prep assignment for GenapSys.
Yeah. And it's the C attachment one.
Yeah, see attachment, and attachment is blue. Well, for me it's blue. It might be purple. I don't know.
Yeah, mine doesn't download anything. All it says is Harvard Business School. This courseware was prepared solely as, it just has like the copyright information. It doesn't even have anything.
Is that because of the tab that you're on? Yeah, no, that's just the tab. Okay, so go to the bottom of that, what you opened up, because mine shows that also. That courseware, Harvard Business School case, blah, blah, blah.
Let's see.
Have you taken the Excel class yet? That was supremely helpful in my life. If you haven't taken it, take it. The class is very helpful.
I haven't through BYU. I took it through my community college.
I tried taking it through a community college and it was not making sense in my head, but I took it through BYUI and it clicked. So, not that I suggest retaking a course if you don't have to, but yeah, so at the very bottom, you'll see tabs. There will be one that says copyright. That's probably the one you're on. And then to the right of that, it should say overview. And then there'll be like a 1-FCF definition. Is that
mine doesn't have the extra tabs at the bottom like that.
At all? That is so weird. Okay. Did you, and you enabled everything, the macros and the whatever it said to enable?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I wonder if I could do a screen share just so I could show you guys. Let's see. Like, there's a way to do this. I've done this before. Okay. If I do this.
Mommy,
What, Ben?
would you like to see my kind of vibe?
When my meeting's over, okay, sweetheart?
Yeah.
Okay, love you, bud. Okay. Application number. My entire screen. Okay, I'm gonna try this. We'll see if this works. Hopefully it's not crazy. Okay, right now you should see yourselves. And then if I click on this, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So these are the tabs I was talking about down here. This is probably what you saw.
Mm-hmm.
No? Courseware stuff? No? Okay, I was thinking it was. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's the overview, blah, blah, blah. This is the free cash flow definition. So these numbers that are tan or pink, you can change, and then it will change this graph, and it'll change this table here.
Mm-hmm.
What tab are you on right now?
It's tab. It says 1-FCF definition, and I just have to scroll down. Yeah, so I think originally, well, the first question was, assume that you have a business with EBOP margins of 5%, NOA sales of 25%, and steady growth of 5% per year. What are the implications of accelerating growth to 20% per year? How about 30%? So that's kind of what I was playing with. So I think it was 5. This was 5, right? And then we were going to play with 20 and 30. So I'll put it at 10 first so you guys can see kind of where it was at. Okay, so as you can see, by year 2, they basically break even and then they're making cash after that. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so then if we increase the sales, right? Is that what it was asking? To 20%. Oh wait, NOA sales. Oh, sorry, that one was supposed to be 25%. I wish I could see it and type it at the same time instead of having to scroll up and down because my memory's not that good. Okay, so if we accelerate growth, right now it's at 5%, but if we accelerate it to 20%, you would think that that rate would go up, right? Now suddenly our break-even point is year 10. And as I recall in the video, he said it's because when you change either of these numbers, or like when you change this number, it changes these other numbers. So I don't recall what it did to the table specifically, but when I typed in 20%, the break-even point is year 10, and then with 30%, this actually looks negative. So it's like they're trying to grow too fast because it's not like the costs associated with growing that fast are too high, if that makes any sense. See how they're like,
Yeah.
so I don't know if that answers the question originally asked. Remind me what that was.
The question was, if we increase EBIT and sales and hold everything else equal, time to pay back increases, decreases, or remains the same?
Okay, so assuming we're at 5, 5, and 25 again, we want to increase EBIT in sales.
Yes.
Okay, what should we play with? Should we type in 10 or 15? What do you guys want to put in there?
Let's just go up to 10.
Okay, so now you can kind of see what it was before. Looks like we're making money around year 6. Okay, and now we'll go up to 10% on the EBIT. And it looks about the same. Am I crazy? Oh no, now it's changing. There we go. Okay, so we're actually cash flow positive at year 3.
So it would increase.
Oh, okay, wait, sorry. Where did my tab go? I have too many tabs open, guys, sorry. Okay, so then in answer to your question, if we increase the EBIT, then we increase our free cash flow.
Yeah, the time to pay back would increase, right?
No, the time to pay back would decrease, right? Because if you're paying back money, that's when you're down here. By the time you're cash flow positive, like you're above the breaking point, you're, if I remember correctly from this, is this the overview? Yeah, so this is the cash flow curve. At first, they're burning money, which is kind of where they're at right now, right? They said the monthly burn rate was $700,000. So the break-even point is here. It's when you're not making money, but you're not losing money. And then this part's where they're actually making money, and this is where they're cash flow positive. So it's at this point when they've paid back all of their, you know, investment people, all their VCs and angel investors and yada yada, and now they're making money. So they are making money down here, but they are still paying back people. Now they're not having to pay back people anymore, and this is all just theirs to invest in the business.
Okay, that makes sense. Time to pay back would decrease, and that would make sense.
Yeah. So what's the next question?
If NOA/sales increase, cash flow increases, decreases, or remains the same.
Okay, so let's put this back to 5. So we have okay, so this is back to year 6 for positive cash flow. If I am understanding this correctly, I hope so. Okay, so now we're going to change NOA and sales. Are we increasing it or decreasing it?
Increase.
Okay, so what do we want to try?
Should we just go up to like 35, 10% increase?
Sure. Okay, so I saw the graph change. It looks like now it's taking us longer, right? Year 9. Year 9 to get cash flow positive.
So our cash flow increases, right? Because it's taking us longer to pay back.
Can you have a few minutes?
Sorry, guys. Hey, Ben, I've got like 15 more minutes, okay? Just be patient.
That is a lot of money.
I know, it's like half a show, and I'll come, okay? Okay, sorry. Say that one more time.
So if we increase it, cash flow would decrease because it takes us longer to break even or to start making money.
That sounds right.
So it would decrease. cash flow would decrease.
Yes.
That's what it looks on the graph as well.
Yeah.
All right. So once everyone has responded to the questions without help from everyone else, compare answers.
Well, we couldn't all get the sheet up, so we had to work together.
Yeah, I think that one's kind of null and void. So.
So we compared. All right. So on the curve below, which segment represents the highest burn rate? And then my curve's not pulling up on my screen.
Mine doesn't pull up either.
All right. Let me see if I can.
It just says
On
an
one of
X.
my bajillion tabs. Okay. You're on the case discussion.
Yes.
This one?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. There should be a graph, but mine doesn't.
Huh. Doesn't look like mine's doing it either. Okay, take it back outside. I'll come out in a few minutes, okay? Is there a way to maybe try this? No? Okay.
Mine's not loading either.
Okay. Well,
It says C and E.
sure. Always pick option C if you don't know, right? Isn't that what they tell you in SAT prep? ACT prep?
Yep.
So on the curve, which is the highest burn rate? Okay, so I guess if we had a curve to look at. Oh, honey. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 sec. I will let you look at this and you can talk about what the highest burn rate would be. My personal belief is that it would show a really steep slope if it was a high burn rate. And if it was a lower burn rate, it would be more shallow. But you guys can discuss that. And I will be right back. Sorry.
I think I agree with her.
Yep.
It seems to make sense.
So it'd just be a steeper curve. Like, wish we could get this to open up. Should we move on or just wait?
I'm fine with moving on, but it's like almost 9 here, so I don't know. I'm like all about getting done. Is that like horrible? I really am like a group member, I swear. I prefer
Where do you
to
live
do it. I'm in here though.
Oh, nice. All right, so
Yeah.
discuss as a group, what strategies have we seen that flatten or lengthen the cash flow curve? So,
All right, guys, I'm back. I apologize for that. I didn't want my children to go, kill each other or something. All right, what I missed?
okay, we just kind of moved on. The question we're on now is, what strategies have we seen that flattens or lengthens the cash flow curve?
Okay, and what were the thoughts said so far?
It says, well, there's more to the question. It says, try to draw the cash flow curves for Dr. John's product, Rent a Runway, and Dropbox, as they were described in the cases. Just make a rough guess as the shape of each of these cash flow curves.
Okay. So that one, I know it said that we were supposed to figure it out. Oh my gosh. Based on, what's it called? The previous cases. Were we just supposed to go open those up and look at the numbers for that?
No, it just says make a rough guess.
Okay, because I was like, I don't remember writing down, I was looking through all my old notes. I'm like, did I write down those numbers? I don't know. I'll have to go open it all back up. But these cases aren't supposed to take that long, are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for Dr. John's, He was making good cash flow, right?
I feel like
If I remember right.
Yeah, he was making money, and his decision was to sell his company to a larger corporation, license his product out, or build his own business.
that's right.
So
And his market share was really good for a new company too.
yeah,
So I think he would have a good cash flow curve.
And
I
I
don't
don't think he was terribly in debt either, if I remember correctly.
Right. So yeah,
Well, just maybe like more shallow.
yeah. Rent a runway.
Rent the Runway. Let's see, they weren't making any money, were they? Can't remember.
No, I don't think so.
Not right away.
They were making money. I think they were just spending a lot of money as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, they had issues with inventory, and they had issues with shipping strategies and stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, there we go. Can you guys hear me? Okay, so yeah, I kind of agree with you. I feel like that one would be a steeper because they're taking out more debt, right? Because they have to get all the inventory, but they're also making money pretty fast. So maybe whereas the other one was more like this, theirs would be more like this.
Yeah. And I think Dropbox would be kind of flatter, I think. Because they were
Dropbox they spent a lot of money. They didn't really make much profit either.
Well,
That was the one that had to shut down.
yeah, they were spending money on their free offer of like the 1 gigabyte.
Right.
Yeah, they were losing money.
They had to sell all their assets in the end, so I feel like their curve was completely underneath that line.
Yeah.
They ran out of money before they got up to the point where they weren't paying back people and could just be on their own.
All right. Okay, so next describe to each other what would happen to Dr. Young if they had decided to build an independent company rather than get acquired. John, have to do differently? What impact on cash flow curve would it make it flatten, steepen, shallow, or deepen, increase or decrease time to pay back? So I think he would have a deeper one because he would have to go more into debt, right?
Yeah, he would have to, incur costs from, building a business, hiring people, outsourcing the factory.
I think that they are on the table or the couch.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he'd have to take out more money, but so that would steepen the dish. And then I think it would also increase time to pay back, right? Because he'd have to take out more, so it would take longer for him to get the money back to people.
And discuss the same with the runway. If the founders had to, if the founders of R2R had been able to convince the dress designers to retain ownership of the dresses, what would it impact their cash flow curve? Flatten or steepen, shallow or deepen? I think it would make it shallow because they wouldn't have as much money out.
I agree. Yep.
Then it would decrease. It would decrease the time to pay back.
My thoughts exactly.
All right. What decisions did Drew Houston make in Dropbox that favorably impacted the cash flow curve?
So they stored files locally, right? So then he didn't have to have the huge, like, remote warehouse or whatever you would call it for electronics. I'm sure that helped the curve. And then you said there were like time and bandwidth saving optimizations. So I don't know if that was on both ends. I mean, I assume he couldn't pass it on unless it was on his end as well.
I thought he used Google to store some of his data.
Yeah, like the cloud storage,
Yeah.
which is not remote storage. Maybe I worded it wrong. I'm not a tech person. Forgive me, somebody messed up terminology.
Yeah,
Alright.
I think he had less overhead, so
That would help his cash flow. So now let's look at the choices GenapSys has from a cash flow standpoint. For each business model option under consideration, compare the following. So are we doing all business models or just the one? Because it says for each business model under consideration.
let me just look at the ones that we chose.
Okay. Okay, so compare the following. The NPV, the net present value, if some of the options have similar NPV, which is riskier, is it advisable to take additional risk for a similar NPV, net present value? You guys have anything on that one?
Well, how do we get the net present value?
Does it say on that Excel file at all?
Is the difference between present value of cash inflow and present value of cash outflow.
So on the Excel sheet, it says the traditional strategy for net present value is 37,751. Razor to razor strategy, the net present value is 35,908, and data analytics is 49,821.
Okay, and where are these numbers?
They are on number. It's on Dell file. Page number 3, financing.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, and my graphs actually showed up. They weren't there earlier. I was looking at them and the graphs were blank. Maybe whatever I just was playing with you guys made something appear. Awesome.
Glad we could help.
Okay. So,
What was?
net present value. So currently the data analytics strategy has the highest net present value, despite not actually gaining money till after 2019.
And I would say traditional and razor and razor blade strategy are similar. They're only a couple thousand off. But traditional's making money from year 1 to 10. Is that what you're seeing as well?
Yes, but it's also steady growth, whereas with the razor and razor blade model, it's looking more, what's the mathematical term? When it like goes up really sharp and just keeps kind of climbing?
Exponential.
Yes, that's the word. Thank you. Exponential. Although I will give it to you guys in the data strategy group over there. Theirs looks pretty exponential as well. So
Yeah, it's that 10% on millions and billions of market growth.
But it's a lot more money from one year 1 to 10 that you're in the hole.
Right.
yeah, you're in the hole like $70,000 instead of like 12 or 13,000. But you have to invest money to make money.
Exactly.
And you have to manage your risks, right? Which you guys said he's used to doing, which is true. Because didn't he found a successful internet service provider or something. So now he's like, now that I'm comfortable and taken care of, I can afford to kind of play with the risks.
Yeah, it says he, I don't know where the background behind this. Basically, he says that he can make money no matter what he's doing.
Yeah.
So how will GenapSys raise fund to support each option? Is any option clearly more attractive to investors? Support your answers.
Well, in the professor notes or his thoughts, I think that was where I read it. He was comparing like angel investors to VCs to like some of the like more special firms. And from what I understood, VCs would be a little more scared of the data strategy model just because there is a lot more money involved before it comes back, and they like to see money sooner rather than later. So they would probably actually be most comfortable with traditional, and then maybe with the razor and blade, but I think it would be a hard sell for data strategy for VCs.
If I was an investor for traditional, though, it would worry me about the other businesses already in that market.
That's true. And angel investors generally come in later in the game. So I don't know. I feel like they'd be, where would they fall?
I think
They'd probably be more comfortable with razor or data strategy too.
yeah, with most investors, they would rather, because they have other assets, they have other incomes. They can invest a lot of money, and they would rather have a larger gain than.
But angel investors don't usually have as much as VCs. VCs can give away a lot more money. They just want to make sure they see a quick return on investment.
Right.
I think there was a chart. I wonder if I saved it somewhere. Yeah, let me see if I just want to make sure I'm relaying the information correctly, right? Yeah, so also private equity. See, that's kind of angels though, right? They're similar. Maybe not. Maybe private equity is just smaller people.
Private equity, I think private equity is like let's see, private equity is, they are investing in companies that are already established. They're not really going for startups.
Yeah, they tried to optimize efficiency, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like angels and VCs, they're trying to build up a company, which is, so GenapSys would not go with private equity most likely, right? Because they're still at kind of the startup and they need somebody to work with them from the bottom up, not from the top down.
Pretty much.
Then, how much of the company will founders have to give up to reach their goals? For each option.
Is that on the Excel sheet too?
Let me look.
But I'm not sure. Yeah, because this is that page that, again, my graphs weren't showing up, so I was trying to answer the questions, and I'm like, I'm looking at a blank sheet. But now that they're there, I'm like, okay, now I could potentially figure this out.
Is that in tab number 4?
It's on tab 3. It's actually 1B. It asks you to kind of figure out. So like that one says, given the 20 million pre-money valuation and your answers to 2A for each strategy, what fraction of the business will the founders continue to own? So it says example, if the company has a $20 million valuation and raises an additional 10 million, the total valuation will increase to 30 million, and the founders will own 20 out of 30 million. So 67% of the company. Okay, that makes sense. So alternatively, if the company raises 30 million, then they'll own 20 out of 50 million, which is 40% of the company. Okay, so those numbers are, let's see, answers to 2A. There's 2A. Is that on the other sheet? Maybe. Okay. Oh no, those are the graphs I couldn't get to up here. So on your Excel sheet, does your number 2, do those graphs pop up?
On page number 2?
Yeah.
No, they do not.
Okay. Because I think that the question in 3 is referring to the question in 2, which is referring to the graphs that we can't see. I was thinking that those graphs in 3 were the graphs I couldn't see, but apparently they weren't.
Okay.
Dang. Okay. So then, where are we supposed to get those numbers?
That's what you said earlier is probably pretty close to what it would say. Is basically depending on how much they invest in, then that's how much the investors own of the company. So that's how much the founders would have to give up as far as ownership of the company. So it's not necessarily just investors throwing in their money, but partial ownership of that company.
Well, and that part makes sense. I guess I'm just trying to figure out how, like, where we get the numbers
The percentages?
to figure out the percentages. Yeah, because now I'm genuinely curious, because at least for me, that would play a part in what I decided to do. Like, if there's similar returns in the long run, it would be like, okay, which one gives me similar returns, but I get to keep more of my company, you know?
Right.
So I guess if we get the graphs working, then we can compare it with each other.
Well, I'm just, maybe I'm not looking in the right place, but I don't know where those numbers are. Would that be the additional startup capex on a 2? So like 10,000, 10,000, and then 20,000 for traditional Razor and data analytics respectively?
What are you looking at on?
On the GenapSys model, tab 2-GenapSys model. It's under cumulative free cash flow curves. So if you scroll down underneath the table that has all the pink things, that would be the additional startup cash. So they'd have to get 10,000 more for each of the first 2, and then 20,000 more
For the data?
For the data. Mm-hmm. But then what are we adding those to? What are the original numbers? Sorry, and you guys don't have your graphs at all, huh? So we're probably not even making sense to you. Okay. Well, I wonder if this is something we should kind of explore on our own then, or is it helpful for you guys? Like if we share a screen, or, because I don't want to waste your time.
No, that's fine. You can share it. You can figure it out.
Okay. Let's see if I could do another screen share. Okay. All right, and back to, okay. So I'm looking at the cumulative free cash flow curves. It says additional startup cap or whatever. So that's these numbers, the 10, 10, and 20. But what I'm wondering is where, like, because in the example, you're supposed to add the amount that you have to raise to the amount that you already raised, right? So where's that number?
Because I think that has something to do with on the financial page for the Excel.
That was 4, you said? Or no, wait.
Well, that's number 3.
Yeah.
But then that B, 1B, like you were reading, because that actually breaks down the percentage of the company, like 67%,
Yeah.
and then 40%. So if the company has to raise money, the founders will own 20 million of the 50 million. So if they have to raise 30 million, and we have the pre-money of 20 million, then they'll own 40% of the company.
Okay, so then here's my question. So up here, they have the valuations, right?
So
The
if they
values. So would it be this number plus 10,000, and then we divide this number by, that would be 47,751, because this is what he has currently, and then out of the amount total raised, like
But they started, didn't they, 1,000?
Sorry, say that again. You cut out for a minute.
They started with 20,000.
Did they start with 20,000, or was that just a general example?
It just said pre-money. Assume that you have found an investor willing to invest a 20 million valuation.
Okay, so in that case, this would equal, right, the 20,000 plus, or no, just the 20,000? Because his is worth, or is it, 20 million, sorry. Woo, okay. 20 million, gosh. And then that's, oh, wait, okay. And then that's divided by 20 million plus the 10 million, which would be 30 million. And I keep thinking I'm going to need to use this. Okay, but now I need that as a percent, right? Okay, so there we go, 67%. And that would be the same for razor and razor blade, because if they're starting with the same 20 million and they have to raise 10, then that would change. But for data analytics, we'd have to change that 30 million to 40 million, which would make it 50%. Sweet. Thank you, guys. I love it when I get answers. Woo! Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the downside. Well, another potential downside to the data analytics is, yeah, they're going to accelerate a lot. As you can see by these curves, and they're going to go up a lot, but you're only going to own half of this. Of course, if by 2023 you own half of whatever this is, that's more than 67% of this, right? 67% of 15,000 is going to be less than half of 40,000, because half of 40,000 is 20,000, which is already more than this. So I think you guys are actually convincing me. I might change my mind.
All right, so now we have to decide as a group what business model we want to choose.
Well, I think I've been swayed, so we might be going with the data analytics. Yeah. Unless you guys have changed your mind. Otherwise, it's at least grade 1.
Yeah, I think I'm still convinced data analytics.
I am too now.
In this case, it's worth it to take the risk, right?
Yep. And that is everything.
All right. Well, this has been fun. I think this is the first time I've actually changed my mind about a case. Usually I come in and I'm pretty convinced and I stay pretty convinced, but
Yeah, I change my mind like 3 times each case study while I'm reading it. So.
And it doesn't look like we have another case this week, right?
Yeah, I noticed that. We have to write some kind of paper instead, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a 1,000-word essay, which isn't that bad.
Yeah, 1,500, I think it was.
1,500 is the maximum. So.
Oh.
That's not my case anymore. It's no big deal.
So should we stop the live recording?